let's go out to Ann Arbor. We got to talk Michigan versus Michigan State. It's a big recruiting weekend, and it's a big recruiting week for Michigan. The Wolverines, they land 5-star offensive tackle, the last available 5-star offensive tackle in America, Andrew Babalola, this week. That was earlier. So, Steve, kind of take us behind the scenes of that one. You always felt good about Michigan, but there's always another team involved. How is Michigan able to finally close the door and land him?
This is one of those recruitments that reminds you of old school recruiting where academics was very relevant, relationships with the coaching staff. When you talk about the 5 stars, NIL, Andrew Babalola was probably by far the last prospect to even have a discussion about NIL, and I never heard it being a factor at all in his process like you do with all the others in America. So an old school recruiting win for Michigan. And when you talk to college coaches about Andrew Babalola's upside, they think he's got number 1 in the NFL draft type potential with his traits and skill set as he continues to develop in the game. He is a phenomenal athlete with great size and measurables, ability to bend, toughness. He checks all the boxes. Major recruiting win for Michigan as they try and continue to set the standard of offensive line play in college football. Sharon Moore won 2 Joe Moore Awards as the offensive line coach at Michigan. Now he's in the corner office. Offensive line play is always going to be important to him in the Wolverines and their culture moving forward. Andrew Babalola, as big a recruiting win as Michigan's going to have in this 2025 recruiting cycle. But they're pushing for more guys as they try and finish this cycle strong. Going to host a few flip targets this weekend for the Michigan State game. Still chipping away at some other guys, but Andrew Babalola, they beat Stanford. He's a high academic kid. They beat Auburn and Oklahoma for him to land one of their top targets. It's the number 12 class in the country right now, but it's number 8 in the Wiltfong Whip-Around's favorite metric, average ranking per commit.
All right, let's talk about a couple of these official visitors. You got Benny Patterson. He's a defensive lineman committed to Cincinnati that everybody's trying to flip. Quante Gillians, he's taken his official visit, and so is safety Jordan Young. Now, the Jordan Young official visit stands out to me because he's going to be making his decision on November 2nd right here at the On3 Recruits channel, so make sure you're subscribed because Jordan Young will be making that final decision after this last visit. How important is Jordan Young's visit to Michigan, and who do you think are the Wolverines' top competition?
Well, he's a Michigan kind of kid when you talk to him. And what I mean by that is just someone that really would fit in that locker room, someone that embraces the idea of being a Michigan man and the Michigan network and just a plus student and a guy that fits into that kind of environment. And if you're Michigan, you look at Jordan Young and you say, this is one of the best two-way players in the country. That's why NC State has been the On3 RPM favorite for a long time, is their vision for him to be an impact player on both sides of the ball and start his career out at wide receiver. Well, Michigan's had arguably the best two-way player in college football. Travis Hunter might try and have something to say about that, but Charles Woodson won the Heisman Trophy and helped Michigan win a national championship, and then certainly one of the all-time greats in the NFL as well. You kind of point to that and say, hey, maybe you can etch your name in Michigan lore, similar to a Charles Woodson, as a guy that can make an impact for us on both sides of the ball. Michigan needs more dynamic guys on offense. Jordan Young is a guy that can take the top off and be a big play waiting to happen, and then certainly has all the traits you covet in the secondary. They need to make a move, though. NC State, Clemson, those are the front runners for him right now. But he's always had Michigan on his list. I thought they trailed tremendously at one point. Now they're getting them back for a visit. So we'll see what happens for what will be a fun weekend against Michigan State.
And Steve, there's also 2 defensive linemen taking official visits, Quante Gillians and Benny Patterson. Tell us about those guys. Hey, Inside Scoop fans and college football recruiting nuts. It's time to upgrade your audio game. You may have a pair of headphones you like, but the battery life, it's too short, or they just don't stay in your ears, or you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars every time you lose an earbud. Enter JLab. JLab is creating headphones, earbuds, and work accessories designed for everyday lifestyle. You guys know the best of the best are wearing them, from Travis Hunter to Ohio State's Will Howard to Quinshon Judkins. So for travel, here's what we recommend. The JBud Luxe over-ear headphones. If you're working out, get the JLab J-Buds, Sport ANC4, offering a secure fit and a super long battery life for those tough workouts. Discover your perfect pair of headphones. Look for the JLab Blue Box at retailers everywhere or visit jlab.com.
Yeah, so Benny Patterson's committed to Cincinnati, but I think it's more likely that he ends up elsewhere. You got USC was out there a couple weekends ago for his official visit. He's going to go back to USC on November 15th, but Michigan quickly making a move here. He's going to get to campus on Friday because he doesn't have a football game. He's going to be at the Michigan basketball game Friday. Then he's going to be at the Michigan football game on Saturday, going to get to spend a lot of time with Sharon Moore, Lou Esposito. I think that the Wolverines have a chance to make a big move here on Coach Eric Henderson and USC and company. NC State's getting a visit early in November. Florida State's getting a visit at the end of November, but it's Michigan's turn, and the history and tradition and defensive line success is really speaking to him and his family. And then Gillians, he was offered by Michigan this fall as well, and he's excited to get on campus. He's a Syracuse commit. He says his heart's still with Syracuse, but Michigan's really been moving up the list for him for a lot of the same reasons they are for Benny Patterson. Tradition-rich program, historic on the defensive line, really has clicked with Lou Esposito, the defensive line coach. He, too, is excited to get to know more about the program this weekend.
All right, so Michigan's also done a great job getting ahead to 2026. Any guys on campus this weekend you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, plenty of them, but let's talk about Savion Hyder on three's number one ranked running back in the updated 2026 player rankings. He's been to Michigan numerous times. I think the Wolverines are setting the pace in this recruitment. Tony Alford's the lead recruiter. Michigan's track record at the running back position, style of play, all fits for Savion Hyder, and they're getting him back this weekend, and I just like where they stand right now.
All right, Michigan fans, a big weekend. Talk to us. And also, are you buying into the Underwood rumors? Do you think this heats up before signing day? Let us know. Comment section below.